Hello, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, the real secret to hitting your driver dead straight, simple keys to finding the fairway every time. Now, let's not kid ourselves. If you're not able to make fairly consistent contact and control the club face a bit, this isn't going to happen. So I have some simple, reasonable keys that I think will help you. And we'll get started and see how we do. Okay, let's touch briefly on why is it so critical to hit the middle of the club face, what's the downside, and how much face control affects direction. Then we'll get cranking with our drills and try to fix stuff. But first, a very quick stat. Based on millions of shots of Arcos data, they ran a study, that's the ones that stick the thing in the end of the club and get all the stats, ran a study if the average 18 handicapper as an average could either be given 300 yards in the fairway every time, or 100% make rate from 12 feet and in, their handicap would lower a little bit more if they got the driver gift instead of the putting gift. Pretty amazing. It's an important club. Okay, sweet spot of the driver right about there. Now, 1 inch off center, which is about where these lines are versus the middle of the face there, 10% of yardage loss. So if you hit the ball 200 yards, that's 180 all of a sudden right there. Up and down can cause problems as well. If you hit it off center, you will twist the face. This spins or tilts the ball and creates curve as well as loss of distance. And we'll touch on the club face in a bit more detail later, but the angle of the face affects both start direction and curve dramatically. Okay, club face effect. 6 degrees is the stroke of a second hand. I suppose it's this way from where you're looking on a clock. If you're 6 to 8 degrees off with your club face at impact on a driver curves the ball the most because of its least loft, you will hit it off the planet. So it's critical, and it isn't easy. And club face angle not only affects curve, which it does, but it affects start direction. 2 to 1 over swing direction does the club face influence start direction. So it is the primary thing that moves the ball around. We're going to work on that later in the video. Next is solid contact. But let me just say, you've had a few players, Hale Irwin, Craig Stadler a little bit this way, Tom Lehman a bit that way, but they hit the ball in the middle of the face. They have good face control. They can manage the little bit of curve they have. So let's start with solid contact. Going to show you 2 players, 2 great players, great drivers of the ball, something that they both do that you have to do if you're going to have consistently solid contact. Then we'll get out and work on it. Dustin Johnson on the left, Bryson DeChambeau on the right. Let's have a look here then. So some differences in their style for sure, but look at this key moment. And that is, as the club approaches the ball, look how level it is for a good 8-10 inches there, and look how stable it is as it goes through. Same for Bryson here. If you want to hit it 350 and make millions of dollars, this is a good way to go about it right here. Look at this club, a little from the inside, really low and level, really stable with a very usable flat spot at the bottom. Really had some struggles at Scratch Golf recently with all sorts of things, but scratchgolfacademy.com, that is. There's a link below. I'd love you to go take a 14-day free trial, browse the library, no credit card coming out of your wallet, no tricks. Would love you to check that out if you feel like it. Thank you. Great mental picture here. 3 tees about a club head width apart, fractionally arced to the inside. My mental picture, if a ball was on each tee, obviously I would hit the first one, I would knock those balls off, and especially if the balls are on the tees, I would hit all 3 before hitting that ball. Now, it may not be strictly true, but rehearsing this, as I'll show you, is a great way to get the feel. Okay, steepness of swing club over here. It's an epidemic with most golfers. Too much of a steep angle of attack. It's always sweeping more from over here. Now, I'm telling you, if that club's crashing down on the ball, unless you want to stick it in the ground, you're either going to have to raise up, or you're going to cut across it, or your arms have to bend. All these types of compensations make solid contact extremely difficult. So if you can come in here just like the guys were there, let me hit one. These tees are a bit too low for me, but there we go. Nice image, and hit some short ones like this. Start to map this in. You are going to have a whole new feel for your driver. Let's check it from here. So as you're starting to come in on a good plane there, and nice and level to the golf ball, you can get those arms a little more turned under, a little more stable. Again, chaotic radius, not going to help you. And start to map that feeling in. Don't just hit balls. Do what I'm doing. Just practice that. Rehearsal is such a good image of those tees. Now here's when you start to hit it a little harder, you're going to have to extend your hips and push up and create a little bit of energy. Let's do a mid-scale one. There we go. You could probably hear, I just nipped the top of those tees coming up. Okay, let's start to look at club face. Momentarily before club face, let's see how I'm doing. See if I'm adhering to my advice. Decent backswing. Club's in a good slot. Let's see how it looks through the ball. Pretty stable, pretty level there. Decent hit. Now this video isn't primarily about grip, but you need a grip, let's say down in the fingers enough, wrapped over enough, maybe right shoulder for the right-handed golfer would be your V, that you can easily twist and turn the face. Slicers don't do that well and they slash and they scoop at it. Make sure you can do that easily and that you have mobility. Now, if you're in the less common category of hitting a lot of hooks, most people slice it if they miss it directionally. If you're in that category, you really have to emphasize keeping the grip end forward, using your body, anything to encourage you to stabilize the face and your arms here. I'm exaggerating it, of course, and less breakdown and this sort of jazz. Much more common, those leaving the face open. Let's finish with a look from here and a few concluding thoughts. So if your tendency is to slice, we touched on the grip a little while ago. This is the key for you. We talked about tilting the face. Do it early, not coming over the top, but get the face looking more at the ground sooner, back in this area, so you don't have to flip and whip it down there at the bottom. Now, as a process, if you can start to do what we did with the tees at the beginning, start to get a really good level spot, making solid contact, it is so much easier to control the club face at that point. When you're all over here and mishitting and your body's making adjustments, controlling the face is very difficult. So in steps, low point, nice and level, some solid hits, then start to dial the face in, play around with that. And if you can get those two things right, at least you'll be hitting pretty solid drives with minimal curve. You might pull or push a few. You are going to help your driving. I hope this video is helpful for you.